Good morning, everyone. This is Kirsten Iverson. Thank you for calling in for the WebEx on how to create a job opening. If you have any questions, would you please send them to, it looks like you send them to me, Kirsten, as the host. And then we'll address questions after the end of the demonstration. So the first thing I want to go over, hopefully you can see the screen now that we're sharing. I have a picture of the extranet, and I'm clicking on the training materials. And just today, we have added a quick reference guide on how to create a job opening for your reference. So it's 8 pages, and it's very, very high level, and is meant to accompany the quick reference guide, Create Job Opening, that went out with the announcement of this webinar. There we go. And that is the 22-pager. So we've got 2 documents to help you out today as you start creating your jobs in actually production for you. So I'm going to show you how to create the job in the sandbox environment. And I do want to make sure, I want to stress that you know that the sandbox is completely what it is. It's a place for you to play and create your job, and it will never go into production, okay? So when you log into production today, those are jobs that will be posted on December 8th. So we do need to make sure you know which environment you're logged in with, and be sure you know that sandbox will not become production. Okay? So I'm just going to click on the quick reference guide. Hopefully you can all open it. And we're going to start. I'm going to go ahead and log in to the sandbox. And you'll know you're in the sandbox because we have a maroon banner. So that might help you identify which environment you're in. I'm going to navigate to Recruiting, Recruiting Home, and Create Job Opening. And the first step, we're on the primary job opening information page. The first step will be for you to select the business unit, and this will default based on your row level security. So you should only see your agency's business unit. So to find out which business units you have access to, you click the lookup button, or icon, excuse me, and this should bring the results of the business units that you have access to. And you can enter your first 3 digits of your agency code and click the lookup button. To add the business unit, you select the link. I'm going to use AFSCME as an example today. We also have a selection of job opening type. We have 2. We have a standard requisition or a continuous job opening. For today's purposes, I'm using the standard requisition. And I want to talk a little bit about the position number. So it's helpful if you do have the position number, which is also the PCN, which is referred to in semaphore, for you to have that when you're creating your job. It will default information in for the job opening, and it'll just help you down the road to have a position number. So again, to find a position number, we use the lookup icon, and this is what is available to us in the sandbox. Again, we're not in production, and I'm going to go ahead and click the Customer Service Specialist Intern. And as you see, the department, the job code, and the posting title has defaulted in. The other required field is recruiting location, and that will not default in based on the PCN number. We do need to add the location, so again, we'll use the lookup icon, And if you've attended class, you remember I showed you that you can sort by the header row. If you click description, it will alphabetize the cities that are available, the locations that are available. Or we can click recruiting location to sort alphabetically. You can also do an advanced lookup and type in the city if you don't know what it is, or if you can't find it by alphabetizing, you can do that and then click lookup. And again, to enter or to add your location, you select the link, either the recruiting location ID or the description, and that will populate the location. So I'm still on page 1 of the Create Job Opening Quick Reference Guide, the little 8-pager that's out there. Now we're going to click the Continue button to open up the job opening page. And this is near and dear to your hearts, I know, from training, so we'll go over it. So when you first enter the job opening page, the Job Details tab is the default. So you see that that's here. The header information will be on every page as you go, on every tab as you go through. So it's helpful to remember, so what job opening ID am I on? What's the posting title? This will be here for your reference, okay? And you can see that I do not have a job opening ID yet. So to populate that, I'm going to click the Save as Draft button. And now you see that I have a job opening ID. So this will be what you'll need to reference as we go further on the process, is your job opening ID. Just a note about the Save as Draft button versus the Save and Open button. If you're a recruiter with delegation of authority to post jobs to the web, you will see both buttons. If you do not have posting authority, you will only see the Save as Draft button. So some of you, if you're going along with me and logged into your computers, you might only see the Save as Draft button. That's because someone else with authority will post the job for you. The Job Details page is informational based on what you've entered in the primary job opening page, information page. You can change your target openings and available openings. To start out, they need to be equal. So if you're posting more than one job, if you're posting 5, your target openings and available openings must both be 5. And as you fill the positions, the available openings number will tick down until all the positions are filled. Okay. So again, all of this information has been brought in by the position number. If we scroll further down, you can see that if you're creating a job at multiple locations, you can add. But remember, your target openings on your locations must be the same as your target openings at the top of the page. Okay. It also will bring in the salary information as a read-only field for your reference. Okay. I'm going to scroll back up. And I'm going to select the Qualifications tab. The Qualifications tab, at this time, if you remember the user guide, we have this whole first section crossed out. The state is not using that at this time. The Qualifications tab is used to add screening questions to your job opening. And at Go Live, you are at least required to add one screening question, and that is the question that asks applicants if they've been truthful in what they have added to their application. So you'll see at the bottom of the Qualifications tab, the Screening Questions section, there is a blank question field that's populated already. So let's click the lookup icon. And what we're referring to as the All Applicants question is here in the sandbox. So I'm going to click on that. to add the question. To see what the question is, we click the View Answers link. And you can see that this is the final question. All of the information I provided to apply to this job is true, complete, and accurate. Note, if you select no, or the information is later found to be false, you will no longer be considered for this job. So I'm going to select Return. And if you have more questions to add, or if you have a question set that you've submitted, you would click this button and then select the questions at the same way that I just showed you, and then click View Answers to make sure those are the questions you'd like to add. If you add a question and it's not the correct one, you can use the Delete row, the trash can icon, to remove it. Okay? So I'll just do that as an example. I'm going to add one screening question. Click the Lookup. And I'm going to select Typing Skills. And I have an Enter Evaluator. So this is something you can add if you have an evaluation. I don't know if you have someone that will evaluate typing skills. Okay?
Open-ended question.
An open-ended text box question. I'm going to click OK. And I really do not want to use this question in my job opening. So I'm going to delete it by using the trash icon. Okay. So for my job opening, I'm just going to have one question. I'm going to click the Save as Draft button to save my changes so far. And now I'm going to select the Screening Options tab, which is page 3 of the Quick Reference Guide. So the state of Minnesota is using 4 screening levels, and they're listed here. They're actually links, and I've got the definitions also on the Quick Reference Guide. So pre-qualification screening is what we're calling the knockout question. It's if they do not meet the pre-qualification question, it stops them from further applying. It's actually at the very first train stop once they click Apply in Careers. This question will appear. The online question is minimum qualifications. The questions will appear in the questionnaire section of Careers. The difference with online is that they happen, the results will happen automatically. The applicant is notified prior to the recruiter running screening. The preliminary level is what we're going to use to add, determine the all applicants question. And the reason for that is we need to use the preliminary level to bring in RSV points. So we do need to use that to run screening later as a recruiter. So I'm not using, and then the final level is where we would put preferred qualifications. So those you would not necessarily want to knock the applicant out, but they would have different questions based on the pre-qualifications. I'm not going to use all 4. I'm just going to use the preliminary level. So it's a nice practice for you to get used to deleting the screening levels that you will not be using for this job opening. So to do that, I click the delete icon and OK. Online I won't be using, so I'm going to click delete and OK. And also the final level I will not be using for this example. I'm going to select the preliminary link. And this will bring the screening criteria page up for the preliminary level, screening level. So what is brought in on the description field and the points is all based on how the question was added to Recruiting Solutions. So the reasons, the past status, the reasons, the fail reasons, the letter are all defaulted in based on the question that we've added. So this is for the all applicants question. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So you can see that I have my screening question, all applicants. I'm going to select this little checkbox, send letter as an email when results are applied. If you check this, your notification will be sent to the applicant when you run screening as a recruiter. It will also show as a notification in their careers account under my notifications. So it's really the recruiter's preference what they would like to do if they want to check that or not. It defaults as unchecked in production, so you will need to mark it as checked. So to add the question, we've already added the question, now we're going to determine how we're using it. So we're going to use in screening, we're going to check the use in screening box and the required checkbox. So both of those need to be checked for the all applicants question. Okay. And I'm going to scroll to so the general requirements I just want to mention, they will show here on the screening criteria page. We are not using those at the state at this time as screening criteria. So more to come probably down the road on that. I'm going to click the OK button, and this will take me back to my job opening page. And I just want to mention, if you are using multiple screening levels, and you have different questions, you would click that screening level link and go through the same process of checking use in screening and required for those screening levels. Again, I'm going to click Save as Draft, just a good habit to get into as you're building your job. And now I'm going to select the Job Postings tab. And I am on page 5 now of the quick reference guide. So this is, we've kind of created the shell of the job opening, and now what we're going to do is create the posting that the applicant will actually see in careers. So to do that, I'm going to click the Add Job Posting button. And I want to make a note right off the bat. So in Sandbox, I'm using the Sandbox right now. If some of you are in production, you'll notice if you've been in there already creating a job, we have a change in the template. So this is called, the template is now called Description in production, and instead of a drop down, it's actually a lookup icon. Okay? So I just want to point that out. Because of the logo templates, we have so many that PeopleSoft changed the name of the title and created a lookup, which is actually going to be nice for you rather than having a long drop down. So on the posting information page, we have the posting title. And now we want to build our 5 job descriptions. So I'm going to click the description type drop down, and here are the 5 templates that the state of Minnesota has created for us. So I'm going to build it one at a time. Click the logo, description type. Again, this will be a lookup icon, but you will find your logo. So again, this is Sandbox. Not all the logos have been added to Sandbox, so if you're in there, don't panic that yours is not there. I'm going to click Minnesota Management and Budget, and the logo will populate in this text field. For visibility, I'm going to select internal and external because I'm creating a job that's open to all job seekers. And scrolling down, and now I'll add my second job description type by clicking the Add Posting Description button. And now I'll add the job details And in the lookup, there'll be 4 descriptions that will be available. So there are 2 for MnSCU, external and internal, and then 2 for all other agencies to use. So job details external and job details internal. On the quick reference guide, we have examples of, you know, if your job details section needs to look different to internal applicants than it does to external applicants, you would need to add 2 of these fields, so 2 job details fields, and you would choose 1 external and 1 internal. So then you would have a total of 6 description types for that job. And the template, by selecting the template, now description, we'll populate the text field with the standard look and feel that the state would like us to use. For visibility, I'm going to choose internal and external. Okay. The job class or the working title, you can actually scroll to the top of the page and copy the posting title and paste that in for job class. I think you would spell out intermediate, I would imagine. Same with the working title. You can copy and paste that in. You will need to add your date posted, so I imagine all of you will be typing in 12/08/2015, and then the closing date will need to be 7 days, or at least a minimum of 7 to 10 days. I'm going to pick New Year's Eve because that just seems nice. So remember your closing dates very closely. We're in a change of a year, so you might want to make sure you're putting the right year. If it's January, make sure you're typing in 2016. Okay. The hiring agency, you can, remove the header information that you're not going to use. I can't type right now. It's hard to see. Okay, and you see that it was bolded. I'm going to use this is the text box toolbar information, and click the bold to unbold, Minnesota Management and Budget. Enter your division, so in this case it's finance, and day shift, Monday through Friday. You can indicate if travel is required, yes or no, and remove the information that's not needed. And enter your salary range, and I'm sorry I didn't refer to it, but you would make sure you knew what it was. So you're typing in the accurate salary range. Again, this is what will be visible to the applicant, so you want to make sure this information is accurate. Okay. So that's the job details description type, and I'm going to continue and add another posting description type. And from the drop-down menu, I'm going to select job summary. And again, the description will be the job summary. There's only one description at this time. And visibility, I'll select internal and external. And just to note, you do need to add, all of these fields are required, even though there's not an asterisk here on the description on the template. When you try to save the page, if you have missed information, this box will become red, and that'll notify you which box you need to fill in, which is a nice reminder. So in the job summary, you can enter your job description or copy and paste. et cetera, your job description right into the job summary text box. If you copy and paste, you might remember this from class that it became a little bit fussy, if I could use that term. So we need to just make sure that the size is 11 and the font is Arial if you're copying and pasting in from another document. Okay? So I'm going to scroll down and add a posting description. And this will be my fourth type. It's the qualifications template. And there's only one. It's the standard. And what the template will bring in are the header fields of each qualification. So it brings in minimum qualifications, preferred qualifications, physical requirements, and additional requirements. And again, you can copy and paste your requirements in from your document, but double check the font and the size of the font. If the physical requirements and additional requirements aren't needed for this job posting, you can remove those by selecting them and then click the delete button. Okay. And the final is the add posting description. Oh, visibility, sorry, thank you. Select internal and external. I'm going to cancel. I clicked the image, that's the image icon I just clicked to get that message. And application details is the final. And we have two description templates. We have a min-skew template and a standard template. And visibility, again, I'm going to select internal and external. And on this template, we have the example wording. You probably want to delete that if that's not out of production yet. So we have the great benefits package. If you have a different statement, you know, you can certainly edit that, but make sure if the parentheses are there at the end or if the example wording is there, you delete that from your job posting. This is information on how to apply. And then here's your contact information. So you can enter your name or the hiring manager's name. I don't know who you guys need to add. But add your contact information and then your email address and your phone number. There's a spot for your phone number as well. Again, if you don't want them to have your phone number, you can delete that. Or if you want them always to have the phone number, I'm being told, so always put your phone number there. And then we have the equal employment opportunity statement at the end. Okay? So before I go any further, I'm going to select the OK button at the bottom of this page. And now you see that I have a job posting link. However, I want to caution you that if you leave this page now without clicking Save as Draft, you will lose your job posting that you just created. So make sure you click Save as Draft. And I haven't mentioned yet, but the system does time out after 20 minutes of inactivity. So if you're interrupted, if you have to leave for a meeting, just make sure you're saving your work as you go along. Okay? Then we need to go back because now we need to add the destinations of our job posting. So to do that, we click on the postings link that has been made available to us. And it takes a couple of seconds and it looks normal again. Okay, so then scroll to the bottom of the page. And this is where we're going to add our posting destinations. And I just want to caution, so we have the Add Posting Destination button right below the Add Posting Description button. So be careful you know which one you're clicking. And on the drop-down menu, we have the three that are all in all caps are the three that the state is using at this time. The other destinations that are listed will not be used. They're informational only, and an applicant will indicate how they've learned about this job when they apply in careers. So if we're doing an open competitive job, we will select all three. We'll use State of Minnesota Accessible, State of Minnesota Employee, and State of Minnesota General. So I'm going to go ahead and add all three. I'll click the State of Minnesota Accessible, and the posting type is external. And the relative open date, we have options here. Based on what you select, you don't need to use one, or if you use on approval date, it will post to the web the day that the recruiter with posting authority saves and opens the job. So I'm going to say on approval date, and what you should all be doing on your post date is selecting, so on approval date will default as the current date. So let's blank that out and make sure we can add, change the calendar date, the post date. So I want to make sure that you do this in production. So you want to select December 8th or later, okay? And your removal date is the date at the stroke of midnight that this job will come down from careers. The posting will come down from careers, okay? To select my other two, I'm going to click Add Posting Destination. And I'm going to select Employee. This is an internal posting type because this will go to self-service careers. And the post date, again, I'm going to select December 8th. And select the 31st of December as the remove date. Just another note is that the dates are calendar days, so make sure that you're not taking a job posting down on a weekend or a holiday. And then my final posting destination is the general, and this is the general MMB career site that this will go to, and it is an external posting. And again, December 8th. And the 31st of December. Okay. I'm going to click OK again and save as draft. I want to preview my job posting. So to do that, now that I've saved my information, I'm going to select the Customer Service Specialist link. So this is the name of the job. And on the posting information page, I'm going to scroll to the bottom and select the preview button. And this should look familiar to you. This is what the job posting will look like to the applicant in careers. And again, if you've had an internal, if the job details are different, you have an internal view. So you would click to switch to the internal view to look at the job details and the difference. This is also where you can see, just by quick glance, to see if your fonts or the size of your fonts, or if there's some extra spaces, like here, for example, that might need to be removed back at your job posting. So, and then click the Return to Previous Page. And now you're back on your posting information page. Again, if there are edits, for example, if you want to remove some space, I think I had a couple extra spaces here that were unnecessary. So you can make your edits and click OK to save and preview again if you would like to see that. Okay. Now I'm going to click OK, save as draft, and I'm going to the Hiring Team tab, and this is optional for you to use. I think it's a very nice tool if you work with other recruiters and collaborate with other recruiters. This is where, I'm on page 7 of the Quick Reference Guide. This is where if you add a recruiter, it will help them with the search as you have more jobs that you're working on. It'll just be nice if you have a team that you work with. It's not required. Another recruiter in your agency is able to see your job. So if we do want to add another recruiter, we certainly can. Let's see if you're there. So you can search for someone. You can search for someone else. So again, I have a different security in the sandbox, but you'll only be able to see recruiters in your agency. So if you want to search by agency, you can do that as well. There's Teresa. I'm going to add her to my job. Okay. You can also add yourself if you'd like and select who's the primary recruiter and who's but I'm going to keep Teresa as the primary. So this will help when you go search the job opening. It'll help the search criteria filter down. Okay, so I'm going to click Save as Draft again. Go back to my Job Details tab. So you'll notice now that we have a notification link at the top of the page. If you are a recruiter without posting authority, or if you're a hiring manager and you've created a draft of a job, see your job opening status is still in draft, and it will stay in draft until someone clicks the Save and Open button, a recruiter with posting authority. But to notify them that a job is there, you click the notification link. And in the subject, I think it would be nice to have the job ID referenced. And the name of the job. And the find, you can use the find to search by people in your agency to send this to. I'm not sure the search will work in the sandbox right now, so I'm going to click cancel. But in production, you should be able to search for people in your agency. I'm going to go ahead and type in my email address just to send it to myself. And in the message, I'll say, please review. There's also this wonderful feature called spell check. So if you click that book with the check mark, it'll help you change your spelling errors. And then click OK, and click the Send button. So now the recruiter with posting authority will be able to log into Recruiting Solutions, review your job, review the postings, the screening questions, and the options. And when they are ready and to approve it, they would click the Save and Open button. And now you see the status of the job is open. And let's just click Save one more time, just to be safe. And there you go. So now on December 8th, this job will be posted to careers in the sandbox. So that is how to create a job in Recruiting Solutions, a very quick overview, but a basic overview. Do we have any questions that we'd like to address? Let's see, I'll go through here.
Just one.
Okay.